Good morning. You all can do better than that. I'm going to try again. Good morning. There you go. You know, we picked this topic, Show Me the Money, really inspired from Jerry Maguire. How many of you have seen that movie? And the whole point was that instead of talking about theoreticals about money, instead of talking about what could potentially be done, it's how can I show you dollars and cents right now? And when I talk to my kids about showing the money, they have no clue what I'm talking about because for them, I'm just the ATM, the source of the money. It's, we keep talking about data. We keep talking about how data is so important, how it's unleashing new services and new products, etc. And there's a lot of hyperbole about data, right? Data is the new oil, it's the new soil, it's the new gold. And for a vegetarian, it's very hard for me to say, and the new bacon. But that's what people talk about when it comes to data. And at the end of the day, as I said, data is something that is very critical and people want to use it for, has the potential to be used for different purposes. But people are very concerned about protecting their data. They don't want to unleash it in any way. They want to keep it in a silo, put a big lock on it, prevent access to the data because they're afraid that there'll be unauthorized access to that data. Now, how many of you think that's a good thing? Okay, I saw a hand up there. I'm not going to point at that person, but most of you did not. At the end of the day, you want to unleash the value of data. You want data to be used really in a way that enhances and breaks down these silos so that you can get access to the data. Because at the end of the day, if you can use data as the engine, as we talked about all the hyperbole, the engine that drives new businesses, new services, new revenue for a business, it's a good thing. And I understand all kinds of data is not the same. There is some benign data that I'm not talking about. I'm really talking about the critical data, where it could be, your sales revenue or your forecast, etc. And if you have data in your silos that you are taking advantage of, you're actually unleashing new services and new products. And this is what I mean by saying that you actually put the data to work. And at the end of the day, if I'm a discerning CISO, I can even convince them that you can access the data in a privacy-preserving manner, in a confidential manner, right? And I would assert that all of this is possible with confidential computing. It's really the means of breaking your silos, giving access to data in order to drive new services, new products, and at the end of the day, even under the supervising eye of your respective CISOs. So as the announcer said, I work for Intel. I run a software and security services organization very focused on confidential computing amongst other assets. Intel has the broadest portfolio when it comes to confidential computing. When you look at the trusted execution environments, Intel has two of them actually. We have Intel SGX, or Software Guard Extension. And the good thing about SGX is that it allows you granular control of your application. It allows you access to certain parts of your application that you can put inside a trusted execution environment with a smaller trust boundary, right? So that's what Intel SGX allows you to do. Intel TDX allows you to have a much broader application base where you can take an application that is currently not confidential and drop it inside an Intel TDX environment and make it confidential. So those are the two different choices application developers have today. There's a third component to confidential computing, which is all around attestation. So what does attestation do for you? Attestation asserts that the application ran inside a trusted execution environment and it was patched to the right security level. So you get cryptographic proof that you can send to your CISO or show it to your CISO that yes, the workload ran where it said it was going to run without any infringement of sorts. Intel has an independent, verifiable, or independent trust authority called Intel Tiber Trust Authority. It's basically a multi-cloud, on-prem, at the edge, independent attestation service that Intel is providing. So combining the two trusted execution environments along with Intel Trust Authority or Intel Tiber Trust Authority, we give you the broadest portfolio of technologies to deliver outcomes, confidential computing outcomes to your customer. Okay? Okay, so now I've told you, hey, unlock the value of data. Intel has technologies. I'm sure some of you are thinking about how can I trust Intel? Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 data points on that. The first one is I work inside our product assurance organization. So what that means is my boss is responsible to make sure that the security posture of every product that leaves Intel is at the highest possible level, right? We do a lot of internal security research, a bunch of penetration testing internally within Intel before we launch something out into production. Whether it's hardware, firmware, BIOS, software, it all goes through similar process. ABI Research just published a report that named Intel as the leader when it comes to security assurance practices amongst its peers in the silicon vendor space. So which is a great thing for us. They called us the foremost innovator, et cetera, et cetera. So that is recognizing what Intel is doing. But we also engaged with our partners, as you see, Microsoft and Google Project Zero, who helped us bring their security expertise to analyze Intel TDX specifically, and helped us find issues in our technology that we fixed before we actually launched the product out. So, huge shout out to Microsoft and to Google Project Zero teams for helping us with that. And the last bit is ENISA is the NIST equivalent in the European Union. So they actually called out confidential computing as a state-of-the-art cybersecurity technology. So given all of this, given the internal work that Intel does to make sure that their products are secure, partner with leading collaborators like Google and Microsoft to make sure our product is secure, and being recognized by external agencies as well, we believe that you can trust Intel's technology to deliver confidential computing outcomes for you and for your customers. You must be wondering, he's gagging about technology. Where is the money, right? So this is where I'm going to delve into what are the use cases that I want to share with you that the industry has taken advantage of on Intel technology to show the money. I have an example from Microsoft. I have an example from the German Federal Health Ministry of Health and from the Ant Group. So Microsoft. You probably don't know this, but Microsoft processes 25 billion credit card transactions in a year through their products and services, right? 25 billion. They have, in the past, had on-prem products, or on-prem instantiation with HSMs and all that, which was really processing and running that infrastructure. They took it upon themselves, once all the talk about confidential computing came about, they took it upon themselves to go put it on Azure Confidential Compute, right? So they moved that entire infrastructure over. And, I'll give you the benefits that they saw. They avoided a $2 million expense to upgrade their hardware and upgrade their HSMs, right? So that's a pretty big saving. They got greater flexibility and scale, because this is a worldwide system, by running it on Intel Xeon Scalable platform. They got that. And with Intel Xeon Scalable, they also saw that stack updates that would take them months before now took days. And still being PCI DSS compliant, running all of this infrastructure on Intel SGX. Pretty remarkable, and thank you, Team Microsoft, for doing that. My next example is from the European Union. You hear a lot about sovereign cloud and making sure that the data never leaves the geographical presence where it's supposed to be. This is an example of that. The Federal Ministry of Health in Germany has embarked on this really visionary project to digitize their entire healthcare system. And as part of that, they decided that they're just going to make it easy for e-prescriptions to be delivered to their consumers inside Germany, obviously. So they created an entire cloud infrastructure to process e-prescriptions for citizens of Germany. And at last time I checked, they were processing about 2 million prescriptions per day with this scalable platform that they have built out. They built out in partnership with Intel, with IBM Global Services, and the Gematik Consortium. It's in production today. And it's designed for compliance with GDPR and with German national regulation. And this entire infrastructure is built on SGX. Slide 11 is when I'm introducing artificial intelligence to you. So we went through the data hyperbole. I'm talking to you about the AI gold rush now, where everybody's talking about what the nomenclature should be. Is it the new electricity? Maybe it's the new gravity. I don't know. But at the end of the day, you have to be living under a rock if you have not paid attention to AI. And somebody said, when I walked into the previous presenter's presentation, he was talking about AI being the force multiplier for confidential computing. I absolutely agree with that. But at the end of the day, you're seeing regulators like the EU with their EU Artificial Intelligence Act, the United States with their Executive Order of Safe and Secure and Trustworthy Development. That's a mouthful. They are basically laying down how to use AI for the good of the citizens of their country and for the nation itself, right? So there's a lot of potential here. We just have to be very vigilant about how it gets used and how confidential computing can help with that. I'm going to give you one example of how one of our partners is using it. Ant Group, the largest mobile payment processing company in the world, is using Intel TDX to basically bring the benefits of confidential computing and AI to their customers. If the customer brings their data along with data that Ant Group has with models that have been jointly created or in a federated learning way or a collaborative AI way, whichever mechanism, they support that by making sure that the confidentiality of that information is protected at all times. The model, the prompts, the output, and it gives them the scalability of running this in the cloud, again, on Intel Xeon Scalable platform. And is designed for compliance with local regulations. And another additional thing that Ant Group did, starting with 4th generation Intel Xeon Scalable, we have this technology called Advanced Matrix Extension. And what they saw was gen over gen, so 4th gen over 5th gen, they saw almost a 5 to 10x performance improvement in inferencing, even with confidential computing turned on, i.e. running it with Intel TDX. That's pretty spectacular. You hear a lot about technology and people think, okay, you only have to use a GPU when it comes to, or an external accelerator when it comes to your AI workload. On the left-hand side of this picture, you see the classes of applications in AI that you can actually take advantage of right now. So if it's a general purpose AI, it's a classic machine learning, it's a deep learning system with less than 10 billion parameters and inferencing of less than 20 billion parameters. you can use Intel Xeon scalable platform with AMX today. You don't have to wait many years, you can do it today. On the right-hand side, there are some systems that absolutely need the acceleration of a GPU. A dedicated AI system, greater than 10 billion training parameters, greater than 20 billion inferencing parameters, you absolutely need an accelerator or a GPU. And Intel is collaborating with our friends at NVIDIA to deliver a solution that takes the advantage of the CPU and the GPU to deliver a confidential computing solution with one singular attestation rather than getting attestation from two different systems. So that's pretty spectacular as well. So in my time so far, I have shown you how you can activate all of your business data while strengthening protection and compliance with confidential computing. That's what I hopefully have left you with. I've also left you with the reimagined infrastructure that you have that is either using an HSM or arduous data anonymization processes, and think about how you can take it to the cloud because you get the protection in the cloud for your models, for your data, etc. And launch it in the cloud or in the enterprise AI with confidence because you get that scalability. So in closing, is that you, Nelly? Folks, I think it's Nelly in the audience. Nelly is the Google confidential computing lead. Come on up, Nelly.
I will crash your party.
I'm in the middle of a keynote.
You absolutely are. So nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
We're talking about money.
We are. I don't owe you money, do I? Okay.
So thank you so much for having all of us. So Anand, great presentation, and Google Cloud is definitely working toward in huge collaboration with Intel to bring confidential computing on Intel TDX to the market.
Absolutely. And you just announced a public preview with Intel TDX or Intel TDX instances. We're talking about money right now, Nelly. Do you have any new information to share that would be money for our audience over here?
So public preview is specifically built so everybody, our customers, will test the water. And we see significant demand and a lot of not yet production workloads on our public preview. So we're absolutely working toward to enable our general availability of the same product, but not yet.
How close, Nelly?
Not yet, but very, very, very close.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming over and giving us that. That is money, Nelly. Thank you. I know you're up after me, so let me wrap up.
Yeah, please do not disappear.
And you can come back. So you heard from Nelly, folks, that they are going to be launching very soon, is what she said. So hopefully I have been able to convince you today about making money with confidential computing. And as an industry, I think we have to start talking more and more about this, more other examples of where people are making money with confidential computing, because we have to create that snowball effect. If it's on Intel, please definitely reach out to us, right? So if you have any questions, you need any help, you have any feedback for us, please send us an email at confidential_computing@intel.com. And you'll get a personal reply from our experts who are standing by to hear from you and answer your questions. Definitely visit us at intel.com/confidential computing and read our most recent blog at that URL listed on this slide. So with that, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for taking your time. Have an amazing summit.